Not just his male followers who call him the Son of God. In John 11, Lazarus dies, and Martha, the sister of Lazarus, meets Jesus on his way to raise Lazarus from the dead. We read, Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world." Martha and the apostles and John the Baptist were all Jews who believed in Jesus, but even the Jewish leaders who rejected Jesus admitted that he was claiming to be the Son of God. At his crucifixion, they mocked him and said, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now, if he desires him. For he said, 'I am the Son of God.'" So, whether they believed him or didn't believe him, the Jews of his time acknowledged that Jesus was claiming to be the Son of God. And even some of the Romans called Jesus the Son of God. When Jesus died by crucifixion, there was an earthquake, and the Roman centurion and those who were with him shouted, "Truly, this was the Son of God." Even demons would call Jesus the Son of God as he was casting them out of people. We read in Luke 4, "And demons also came out of many, crying, 'You are the Son of God.'" Now, think about the diversity of witnesses we have here. The Father identifies Jesus as the Son of God. Jesus identifies himself as the Son of God. The Holy Spirit identifies Jesus as the Son of God. The angel Gabriel identifies Jesus as the Son of God. The prophet John the Baptist identifies Jesus as the Son of God. Jesus' apostles identify him as the Son of God. Martha identifies him as the Son of God. Roman soldiers identify him as the Son of God. Demons identify him as the Son of God. And people who certainly didn't believe that he's the Son of God publicly proclaimed that he was claiming to be the Son of God. All three persons of the Trinity, prophets and apostles, angels and demons, men and women, Jews and Gentiles, anyone who could possibly identify Jesus as the Son of God, identified him as the Son of God.
True.
Of the Son of God, did they understand him to be the Son of God, not only in the sense of, a great guy, but also in, in a spiritual, religious way, the way Christians later understood him? Was that something that was there from the beginning?
I think it was there from the beginning, but they meant something different by it. In Jewish circles, Son of God is used in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Bible. Son of God is used for various beings. It can be used for angels, for example, but it can also be used for humans. The King of Israel was known as the Son of God. And the logic of it was that God has a kind of a representative on earth through whom he channels his will. And this person would be could be a human, but it was the one who's in a particularly close relationship with God, through whom God mediated his will. And so Jesus would have been seen as the Son of God in that sense. And he might have even talked about himself as the Son of God in that sense. Later, that came to mean that in some sense he himself was divine, that he was God. And that's the meaning that carried on later. But early on, I don't think they meant it that way.